Welcome aboard, folks, and welcome back to my regular viewers. My name is Rod, and in today's video, we will be doing a mega unboxing. Alright, folks, I am super excited to take you along this journey with me. Of course, there are going to be many new type of videos that I'll be able to make, but as well as share with you a huge part of the development of my career and my dream. And through this, we can make aviation a lot more accessible to, you know, billions of people around the world. I do realize that the computer build that I will be doing is a very high-end computer. This is not affordable, but this will give me a machine that will be relevant for a long time. So I'm a huge fan of buying once, or at least as close to as once as you can. Just to share with you a little bit about the ideology, right? The thought process of the decision making, which is very complex, of all these items. And I am confident you are aware and familiar with the law of diminishing returns, right? So what does that mean? So in the beginning, in the lower end of the scale, you have items that are extremely affordable, but they're not that good. And with each step in the scale of cost, you actually acquire tangible and material advantage over a relative lower performing part and cost tier, so to speak. Each equipment, each individual piece of equipment abides by this law. Everything really abides by this law. And it is, the scale is specific to each individual item. So, you know, take for example, video cards or motherboards, okay? Like, you know, this video card right here, the Radeon RX 6800 XT, right? It is very expensive. Now, there are many video cards that are way more expensive than this. However, relative to those way more expensive cards, this one will deliver 95% of the performance. I'm not giving you exact numbers here, but it's just for you to have an idea. So at the top end of this scale, you double the price and you gain a very small margin of performance. And I truly do try to live my life in that manner. I call it the top end of reasonable. Again, reasonable is definitely special to you and your financial situations. I do realize that. But overall, if you take away all financial limitations, there's a point before everything starts doubling and quadrupling in price, right? Well, I like to be just a little bit below that point. So I'm getting a tremendous amount of return on my investment. And that way, I can acquire these things knowing they're good. They're not costing multiple times of what they should. They are at the top end of reasonable, as I typically call it. Okay, there are two items missing from this mega machine that I don't have with me at the present time. The power supply unit and the thermal paste for the CPU, okay? The power supply unit, I'm going to be referencing my iPad, which has all of the parts as we're going about. The one that will be coming in is the ASUS Republic of Gamers Thor 1200 watt 80 plus platinum. It is a fantastic power supply unit. The reviews of power supply units on the market are very, they're all over the place. So I'm going to get it. Hopefully it's working 100% and we'll just go from there. That's the one that's coming, and that's the one that I do not have here with me. The thermal paste that is coming is the thermal Grizzly. Hydronaut thermal grease. and its model is the TGH030-R. If you're interested, that's the model number. Okay, other than that, all the rest of the items I do have here with me. And to make sure I don't omit anything, I'm just gonna go down the list. The person that assisted me in building this machine, selecting the items, is in fact my father. He has been in the industry for, I want to say 40 years. He worked with the very first computers, and he's got a tremendous history with these machines. He's not physically in the vicinity of where I live, so he is not present here with me, but he did select these items and help me finalize the selection of the items. So just so that you know, that who has been assisting me, and then I will be doing the build. I do not think you guys would like to see the build, so I'm not planning on recording the build. Let me know if that is something that you're interested. I'll consider it if there are enough requests. The build will be extremely technical, extremely difficult, and it'll take a good amount of time. So that will be a challenge in and of itself. Of course, I don't do this for a living. I don't build computers for a living. So steep learning curve about that vertical wall, as has been many things in the recent past. So, all right, folks, let's begin, shall we? I tend to talk a lot. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but we got first item here. It is the Samsung 980 Pro M2. M2, the new type of internal SSD memory. It is definitely solid state, and it is wicked fast. 7 gigabit per second of transfer speed, which is just crazy fast. All right, my trusty knife is MIA, so the scissors will have to do. As far as the shipping of these things, you know, most of them come bubble wrapped, and that's about it, really. So nothing too unique or peculiar or special to mention about the actual shipping boxes. The one that came in most protected was the video card. The video card, again, it came straight from China, and it had foam around the package. None of these items had a delicate stick or sticker on the outside to be careful. So just a little bit of a note regarding the shipping. Hopefully nobody's been throwing these around so they're not logging any flight time, because these are very expensive and delicate equipment, right? So one can only hope. All right. Any unboxing beyond what you are seeing would have to be done with the anti-static brace. So I am electrically discharged, and I will not be doing the build right now. So I'm just going to take these items out of the box and show them to you. And then beyond this, I will be doing it in the build itself. Okay, like I said, this box, very simple, but the item inside is very well protected with a plastic case as well. And this will be where I'll be basing the operating system and the most demanding apps, software, such as the flight simulator. So it'll be out of this due to communication transfer speed. Okay. Next item, we got a couple of 870 QVOs from Samsung, solid state drives at 2 terabyte each, a total of 6 terabyte in solid state, which will give me a good amount of room to work effectively with media and the game or any other anything else that I throw at it, right? I can add several more the computer allows for many more. So that's wonderful. I can run RAID. If you're not familiar, you can look it up, but I can run many different types of RAID, and that's great, right? So I'll have that going for me. Oh yeah, let's take a look at this. I reckon the box will probably be very similar. Not very good to try to open all of these boxes with the scissors, but it'll have to do at the present time, yes? Okay. Here is the solid state drive. Obviously, this is not as delicate as some of the other items because it is itself inside of a case. You know, definitely don't want to drop it or anything like that, but I'm not sure if you've seen one. Nice and boring, nothing to it on these. The exciting stuff is coming in a little bit. This is something I'm gonna try to do. The power supply unit coming in to feed all these monster pieces of gear is large, and I'm gonna try to install a very thin fan underneath it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. The fan itself is $14, so it's not too bad, and it is worth a try. And worst case scenario, I have another fan here. This is a 120 millimeter fan, and it's a slim variant. As far as you know, brand or anything like that, it's not even listed on the item description. So pretty generic fans. There are about 1 million of them. It's kind of difficult to choose. Quite frankly, very, very difficult to choose. So just, you know, try to find one that works for what you're looking for. The number one thing being the size, noise, and how much air it moves, or the CFM rating of the fan, yes? All right, next item is the ASUS TUF Gaming Radeon RX 6800 XT 16 gigabit in GDDR6, and it is a PCI Express 4.0. So, absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Let's open it. This thing is a monster. I had to just take a peek when I received the item to ensure that it was not damaged, because then I would have had to initiate a return, yes? But other than taking a peek, the item has stayed inside of its box. Like I said, the shipping itself was on a very protective box. Okay. All right. Again, another box inside of a box, which is really good. You want to see that at this level of expense. And then it comes with some protective styrofoam and the anti-static wrap, which I will not be removing for purposes already stated, reasons already stated. This thing is a monstrosity. I don't know if you can tell how big it is, but it is very large, it is very heavy, and it is very powerful. So definitely an extremely capable video card. It has 3 HDMI ports and one I'm sorry, this one looks like it's got 1 HDMI port and 3 display ports. I do not know the technical difference between a display port and an HDMI port. I will be learning about it for sure as I configure and set everything up. My monitor is the LG 48-inch CX. Or 45, one of those. I bought it when I set up my studio last year, and it is 120 hertz type of monitor. It is 4K OLED, so it is not 8K. If that is something that you're interested, I'm going to be going up to 4K 120. But 4K 120 is magnificent, yes? So this will be handling that no problem. And again, this is so that I can have the machine and be able to work with it for a very long time, right? So this far exceeds the minimum requirements or even the recommended specs by Microsoft for the software itself, which is where I want to be. That way I can create a perfectly smooth flowing shots of the game, no jittery. The next item is so big, I'm not sure how I will be able to open it, but let me see if I can do it. All right, again, the box came in banged up on the case. It is a monster case. So I had to open it to make sure that it wasn't damaged. I couldn't see any damage. And now for the removal. Let's do this. This thing is huge. All right. All right. It is huge. Okay. Well, that is not going to work. Okay, I'm not sure how much of that we're going to be able to keep on the final take, but it is a monster case, and it is friendly to water cooling, which I will be doing since it's an AMD processor. That one is the Thermaltake View 71 Sync ARGB4. All right. It is an eATX compliant, or it can accept that size of motherboard, which is really large. All right, next up we have the Republic of Gamers Crosshair 8. I don't know if it's 8th generation, but Crosshair 8 Dark Hero AM4 AMD. It's the X570S and ATX AMD motherboard. All right. All right, so this one, again, it did come in bubble wrap. It's got the anti-static plastic in the front. You open the box, you have the Republic of Gamers, and here is the motherboard itself. Very beautiful, right? And extremely powerful. So once the build is done, it's gonna look amazing with the glass box in particular. Next up, all right, the brains of the process here, the AMD Ryzen 9 5950X. So it's a 5000 series, 16 core, 3.4 gigahertz. To those that like specs, this video is right up your alley there. Pretty awesome. If you don't care too much for technical stuff, I reckon this video is not your favorite, but when you're building your own computer, specs and details are the name of the game. Wow. Okay. Here it is in all its glory. Rather expensive part of the computer, as you would imagine. It's the kind of thing that, due to my lack of experience, I'm sure I won't even be breathing as I'm installing it. All right, next up, we have the Windows 10 Pro full. That's what we have right now. And then the Corsair Vengeance RGB RT 32 gig. Yeah, 32 gig, but it's 2 slots of 16. So let's take a look. Here we go. All right, that's what they look. RAM is something you can spend a serious amount of cash. Well, as you can with everything, right? But yeah, this one is very difficult to select because you have the model number, the speed, the bus, the pins, and everything has to line up correctly, right? So this is 288 pin, and it is DDR4 4600, which is AMD optimized. So one big decision in the building process is if you're going to go Intel or if you're going to go AMD. And, you know, if you are a professional in the field, do let me know. Overall, we decided to go with the AMD due to some potential performance edge on some graphic heavy operations. It is within a few percent of the competition, which is Intel. So not really necessarily a factor, depends on what you decide. The decision itself is extremely impacting because it'll determine all the other items that you're gonna have to acquire. They all have to work together to make sure that you can, they're all compliant with each other. Like AMD optimized gear, since we're going with AMD platform CPU and all of that. Over here we have a box of screws to make sure I'm not missing any screws as I'm building this. There aren't many screws per type, but it is 15 different screws, which is good. That is good when you're actually building. You don't want to be missing a screw, yes? And then over here I also have, because I didn't, a toolbox specifically built by Fellows here, or Fellows, sorry, Fellows. And it is it's got, I think, what is it, 100. Here we go. It's a 100-piece computer toolkit. A lot of very specialized tools to put it together, and this way I can get the job done and not have to outsource it, because outsourcing things is very expensive. All right, next up we got the I got these 3 fans over here, and they are ARGB, which is assignable RGB, sync from Thermaltake to go with the case and with the colors of everything else all together. I don't have that receipt right there, but again, Pure 14 by Thermaltake, and these are 140 millimeters. So big fans. Another thing to consider, of course, would be noise. Yes, so you can get a lot of cooling, but you got to make sure your noise levels are appropriate. So something to think about. The case fits many fans. I'm not sure if I want to fill the slots of all the slots with fans. We'll see what I can do. And then over here is Republic of Gamers. It is their liquid CPU cooler. This is to work with the CPU because it generates a lot of heat. One big difference between the AMD and the Intel is how delicate or susceptible it is to overheating. The AMD being more susceptible with a lower temperature threshold. So in order to maintain its integrity, you need a water cooling system. So it's got a full radiator, fans, and the water cooling pump to pump the fluid right on top of the CPU. That will be exciting. I'll let you know how it works. And folks, that is all the parts. Like I said, minus the power supply unit, which is coming in, should be here next week, where I will be able to put the computer together. And then hopefully in a couple weeks time, we'll have some shots, and I'll also be running some benchmarks to let you know how it pans out. And then we'll be doing unboxing of some few extra items that will allow for me to interact with this training tool, which effectively is what it is, an incredibly powerful training device if you choose to use it in that manner. And I'll be able to be doing all kinds of exciting things. All in all, folks, I do appreciate you sharing your time with me. I hope you've enjoyed the unboxing of all these things. Oh, in fact, I did not unbox this. So let's just take a look at that real quick. Wow, lots of components. Okay, so I guess the Republic of Gamers, they like that little presentation, right? With the flap that flips. And we got the big fans. Big, beautiful fans. I'll put them back in their spot. Cables. And then the pump that will connect to the actual CPU and the radiator, which is a monster radiator. Wow. This will be my first water-cooled machine and my first build all by myself. So all in all, very exciting. Again, like I said, thank you for sharing your time with me. Thank you for being here. Please make sure to support the channel, give it a like, a subscribe, share this video as we go in this journey together, and a lot more exciting content and more frequent coming up in the near future. Until next time, as always, fly safe. Thank you.